Yes, I want to eat, but the thing is, commission at the end of the day is I would rather a commission than no commission at all.
We should call it the D side and the S side. Don side, Scott side. This is a D side episode brought to you by the D side. Pause. Room full of guys.
Sponsored by the D.
Sponsored by
Oh,
D.
okay. Yeah,
Ready when you are.
I did them last night for.
Yeah, put them in the dishwasher.
No, scrubbed.
Scrubbed up.
Yeah, scrubbed. I had an apron on. No, mine works fine. Maybe it's your dishwasher. It's your dishwasher.
Have you been to his house?
The lies that profuse out of this man's mouth.
Dude, we're on it.
We're on point. Game point.
I almost wore that shirt, but decided to go less political.
Okay.
Guys, welcome back with another episode. It's your boy Donovan, and I'm here with Scott. We're gonna do like 2 mini interviews, and I'm gonna go first as host. So Scott, like, dude, tell us a little bit about yourself and like why real estate. Like, did you wake up in real estate, or did you have a journey towards it?
No, definitely a journey towards it. So, grew up in a general construction home. My father actually started the company the month that I was born.
Where's
So this is in New Orleans. Yes. Lake Charles is it's my little secret. I'm from New Orleans. Most people go, "You don't sound like you're from New Orleans." I'm like, "What does New Orleans sound like?" I guess not me. Oh,
That's tough.
producer.
Can't beat those allegations.
1, 2, 3, clap. Latoya is my mayor. What? Oh, political. No. So grew up in New Orleans. Father started a general construction company. Loved going to work with him. Loved seeing like the concrete mixer trucks, the dump trucks. My mom likes to tell the story that one time I saw a woman driving a truck and I was like, "What's that mom driving that truck for? That's been the man job." But I mean, it was innocent. Innocent. It was 4.
You'd have been great in Donald Trump's cabinet. You talk about grabbing her by the steering wheel, huh?
Stop. Innocent. So
504 number.
it's a 504 number. Gotta close that. But no, grew up in it, and I told my dad was around the age of 10, "Hey, look, I want to take over the company when I get older." He said, "Well, that's great, son. There's the broom." So I started sweeping. I saw, and that so my father ingrained in me to work from the ground up. He was like, "Look, this is not just going to be handed to you on a silver platter. I might have had a silver spoon in my mouth, but this company is not going to be handed to you, and you just."
Yeah, the plate was paper. The spoon was silver. The plate was paper.
The plate was 100% paper.
So were you working after school ever, or how'd that work?
No, so I would do odd jobs after school, but mainly during the summers. I can remember the first summer that I worked for him, I got paid 25 cents an hour. Yes, crickets.
You can't even buy on bourbon for that.
You can't buy anything on bourbon for that. So I had to stay away from bourbon. I couldn't even go to Cafe Du Monde and get a beignet. What you talking about? But look, sometimes when I didn't have to sweep or that nobody was looking at me, I can remember my first job. We were working on a wharf project, and I got to fish. So I still made 25 cents an hour, but I got to fish. Also fell into the water at that job, but I was trying to hold back the boat, but the boat motor was going the opposite way, and I was still holding, and then the boat was not underneath me. Just drop, let anchor. But, so work my way through that, work my way through my father's company, work with my uncle who was a business partner of my father, worked with him for 6 years. He's a fine cabinet maker. When I say he goes down to the 16th of an inch, 16th of an inch, this dude went underneath, dug underneath his house to level it, leveled it, put everything back. The water level was wrong. He was a eighth of an inch off, tunneled back underneath it, got it to a 32nd of an inch. That's how micro he was. So I got a lot of experience in that. 2009, after Katrina, we're blowing and going. We don't even step foot base I'm from Metairie. We don't step foot in New Orleans at all. Didn't need to. We had 32 homes that we were doing in Metairie. Well, 2009, that started drying up. New Orleans was still going, and it was just our fault for not doing New Orleans, so we dried up. So we had to start doing some other things. I was married at the time, so I was like, I have to make some money, so then I switched to home inspections. So I'd studied, mm, like, well, not all studied, became a home inspector, and I worked doing home inspections for 3 years in New Orleans, maybe 4 years in New Orleans.
Is this full time?
Yes, this is 100% full-time working, crawling underneath New Orleans houses, 100-year-old houses, just learning about things, and everybody's like, "Well, Scott, it should have been easy for you, construction background." Dude, that test was not easy for a person that had a construction background license. That licensing test kicked my butt. Passed it, got through it, worked underneath homes, did everything that I needed to do. I am a talker, as you might have noticed. I love to talk, so I enjoyed the aspect of inspector and real estate agent. I got to talk to them. I got to make friends with agents. They would say, "Okay, Scott Werner's the best. Use him." Their clients like to talk to me. And so I got to see a little bit of what a real estate agent was because in New Orleans, not like in Southwest Louisiana, but agents are there for the inspection. Like listing agents are there the whole time that you inspect a house, and I'm sorry, the buyer's agent is there the whole time that you inspect a house. So I guess they don't trust inspectors in that area. They're like, no, they're gonna steal it. So agents are there. And so I got to talk to agents and I got to see how the agent life was. So fast forward in 2018, I moved over here um, and transplanted from basically house call New Orleans to house call Lake Charles, and I worked at house call Lake Charles for 2 years here. Um, Great experience, lovely experience, but then I started our kids, Sarah and I's kids were getting older, and when you're doing, like, 3 inspections, you're dead tired. And so I didn't have time for my kids. So then I decided, okay, well, I mean, I like to talk. I know a lot about houses. Let's become a realtor. So first year in, I mean, I really like supporting my brokerage. I really like supporting the family that I made. And I really like going out of the way to help people. And I was rookie of the year basically for my first year of real estate. I'm like, how did I get this? I don't deserve this. I'm sure there's somebody else that does. But that just gave me a fire. And like I've always said in the last podcast, that journey to be better, to be the best is what my mindset is. And so here I am today hosting a podcast with this fine gentleman across from me and, loving every second of being a real estate agent.
So you could never see yourself going back?
I have my licenses. I still hold on to those and I still do the CEs, the continuing educations to hold my licenses, but no, at this point in time, I don't see a reason going back. I no, I love what I do.
Was there ever a moment during your home inspection career when you said, "I gotta get the out?" Or was it just the being dead tired and your wife being like, "You need to make a decision"?
I think there were definitely moments you're in 140-degree attics a lot. You're crawling underneath houses, which sometimes is not the most comfortable thing, especially for a person that with my frame. But no, it was like, look, I'm dead tired and my kid wants to play basketball. I'm not wanting to play basketball after 3 inspections a day. Now, and the thing is, Scott, I mean, I could take off when I wanted to take off doing home inspections, but it wasn't like a fair thing for my boss to be like, "Oh, I'm taking off." Yeah, I could take off. I'm my own employer, but it's not fair for him because then he has to pick up the slack. Where real estate, I set my schedule. So if my little girl or my little boy has a game or practice or something at school, I'm like, "Okay, that's what I'm going to be." But, and those other times people, and you have to schedule your time out because if you don't, then it just becomes one blah. So, that's my real estate journey. What about
Um,
oh, ooh, more
yeah,
questions.
yeah, yeah. We can't wrap it up on that.
Oh.
Uh, Tell us like a really positive or story that you can hang your hat on and that you're proud of, and then I need a nightmare from you. Not preferably the nightmare first, but you
Oh,
can
you
pick.
want the nightmare first? Okay, dealing with an agent, older agent, probably past their prime, past
Put
their
put her
prime.
name in the chat.
Yeah, text it out. Um,
Clip that chat.
might work for a company in blue. I don't know. I don't know. We're not. Whoa, whoa. We're not gonna say
Watch it
anything.
now.
Watch it. But the thing is, it was a nightmare working with this agent, and this agent is set in her ways, and it worked for her back then, but she is set in her ways. And I can remember, uh for some reason, we couldn't do a walkthrough right before closing. After this getting it done, pushing this deal through, getting things done, bending over backwards, my clients sign on the dotted line, then go to the house. The ceiling fell through because the AC had a leak in it,
Completely through.
completely through, like sheetrock ground insulation on the floor. And I that's one of my first ones, and I'm like, "Oh, crap. How do we fix this?" So, like, I called my sales manager at the time. I'm like, What do I need to do? How do I do this?" She said, "Do this, 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 and this." Got it done. Working with that other agent was the nightmare, truthfully. Yeah, the situation was a learning experience, but the real nightmare was just having to work with that agent and being like, "Come on, I need help. Let's get this thing to the sale." It felt like you had an anchor, like you were dragging an anchor, uh, in dirt and, like, just pulling on that anchor and saying, "Why?" There were many times that you just wanted to throw that anchor away and say, "Okay, I'm sorry, guys, we gotta move to the next house, but this is the house that the clients wanted." So, best experience?
How'd that get resolved, by the way?
Got everything done, got the sheetrock done, got the AC done.
Credit? How'd they do it?
Basically, I, told the, closing attorney to hold, some money into escrow.
Nice.
Like $5,000 in the escrow. We got it handled, got it done. Clients are still, living in that house, still love that house. They talked to me. I think I got a, text from them, like, a couple months ago.
Should have sent them a Christmas card.
Probably should've.
But tell me your positive one.
Positive. Um, I mean,
There's a lot, probably.
this is gonna sound so cliche, but I think most of my transactions are positive ones.
Mm.
I mean, I like what I love what I do, so most transactions are positive. One that sticks out to me the most is that, I would have to say I go back to that client that I talked about last time that had to pay $12,000 outside of closing, basically for my commission, and they were excited. They were like, "Scott, this helps me move on with the rest of my life." I'm like, "Dude, I just cost you $12,000. I sound like a sucky agent." But he was like, "No, I've been sitting on my house 18 months. You came in, sold the house. I'm in Tennessee. I can plan for the future now. I can get my wife the minivan that she's looking for because we were so worried about the HOA payments and the monthly payments and the energy and the water." And it's like, okay, how can you be happy about having to give $12,000 at closing? And that's where I think that, you know, we were talking earlier about being the thermostat, not the thermometer. I regulated the temperature of that room. I got the deal done, and they were glad to pay for the services that I did. Not only glad to pay for the services that I did, just glad to be out from underneath that house. That's the one that I look at and I'm like, "Man, I did really good on that one." That was probably like that I think that's because that one was early on in my career as well, so it was not right behind the bad one, but that was one that gave me energy and said, like, "Hey, push forward," and that's the one that gave me that mindset of, this is God's asked me to give 100% of what I do, and so I'm gonna do it. I think that's a good one for me to end on, so,
No, I think that it's a way more of a wrapped up vibe.
yeah, than where we were gonna leave it.
Yeah, you're just trying to flip it like a pancake, bro.
Um,
Burn that baby.
well, guess what? It's time to flip.
Yeah. Go ahead. What's up?
What got you into being a real estate agent?
So
What was your background?
I had a mentor in college who I spoke with a lot. I was really good friends with his son, but he was a well accomplished over 16 rentals and like 80% of the portfolio was paid off at that point. So I'm pretty sure it's all paid off now. But I would just talk to him and ask him questions about business and life. And then I started thinking one day about he was kind of explaining his business model to me. And it took a while for him to get there, but he built up such a really good salary for himself through these houses and the rents. And I was like, man, it's really cool that he doesn't have to work as hard for his money. He still fixes all his stuff, but like the idea of me not working as hard and my money working for me was huge because like I always saw myself as an entrepreneur, a go getter, but like
Mhm.
you got to work smarter sometimes, and that's a future investment. So, um, surprisingly enough, he gave his son his inheritance early, like in college after we graduated. So his son bought a rent house in Jackson and was fixing it up. And I was working like 3 or 4 jobs. I was getting my MBA, and I would go help my buddy out when I could. And it just and I sucked at everything at first, obviously. I'm not very tool inclined,
Mhm.
honestly. I guess I got blue collar energy, but I feel like my mind is more white collar. But I got the grit of it's just I'm a good mix. I don't know what white and
No,
blue
you really
make,
are.
but so it just really got me thinking hard because I'm like slaving over these jobs, sweat equity when I'm only making as much as I can give versus a house that has endless possibly worth. And helped him fix up that house, got it rented out, did some property management, and uh, graduated an MBA. Went and worked a logistics job at 2 different companies. Absolutely hated my life, like to the T of like I'm about to do something stupid if I don't leave this job vibe.
Mhm.
And, started, like, literally, like, laying floors and painting for about a year and a half or so or 2, and then I wanted to become an investor myself was probably the biggest key,
Okay.
and I wanted to save the 3% funny. I
Hey,
wanted to save the 2.5 to 3% on each deal. I didn't wanna depend on somebody else to supply me information. I felt like if I held enough chips and cards in my hand that I could play it effectively.
that's awesome.
And, I've always had a knack for talking to people. I found a paper the other day that was, like, from, like, 4th grade of, like, "What do you wanna be when you grow up?" And it said motivational speaker. So, like, I've always had this, like, aura and vibe about myself. I've always been unique. I've always liked talking to people, always felt like I can connect with a wide variety of people. That's something that, like, I know I'm all over the place, so, like, call me hypocritical or whatever, but,
Mhm,
like, something that I felt like even before I was, like, born again, that I felt like I realized with Jesus that he could literally talk to anybody. Like,
mhm,
they tried to get him for, like, eating with the sinners and all this stuff, or healing on Sabbaths and stuff like that, but, I just really enjoyed that his knack that, like, he drew people to him of all walks of nature without compromising who he was.
yeah,
And that's what I feel like I do a good job of, and I feel like I can, like I joke, I can go talk to the sisterhood school of nuns, or I can go talk to the prison reform, you know? So,
mhm,
like, either way it goes, I knew I needed to be in a place with people and doing sales because that's what I'm good at. I felt like I could learn how to, like, fend for myself and eat, and real estate seemed like a good way to help people make super important decisions, but
yeah.
also possibly set me up to, like, maybe one day be able to, like, disappear for 6 months at a time because I have all this property, and give me time to write and do music, and just so to help people, yes, but also just to grow more as a person, and I felt like this was a great opportunity to, like, not only learn, but, like, make it my own.
Do you think this is the end game for you, or do you think that realtor is just a step for the next level?
So, I don't think it's in game, but I don't ever wanna fully pull out either.
Yeah,
Like, I kinda want it always in the oven baking, no
yeah.
matter what. Uh, in 10 years, if I'm still nose to the ground selling real estate, if I'm being honest, I think I failed something in my business model.
Oh,
I wanna be able to step away eventually. Like, I was literally, like, anywhere from 3 to 6 months at a time. I wanna be able to take trips, do whatever, like, and I don't it comes through, like, the investing.
mhm,
One of my goals this year is either 2 flips or 2 income producing properties. I'd rather flips, honestly, just as, like, more of a Kickstarter,
yeah.
but I'll take a good deal if it comes up, so
Do you think your construction, background that you learned at an older age helps you with your real estate?
I think it helps me not scare away from deals and stuff that may look bad. I feel like I
Yeah,
just can have an eye. Do I still call my contractor buddies and yes, but I feel like I can look at something and objectively be like, or like inspection responses, dude. How many times has somebody been like, "We want $3,000 for this inspection response," when the material's 500 and the labor's like 700, maybe? Like,
yeah,
what are we doing here?
yeah. Let's get the deal done. You're asking for way too much.
Right.
I mean, I think that's a great point, that you and I have the background that we get to look at something that most agents don't get to see. We get to see the house as a house, and we get to see, "Oh gosh, it is a defect," but not be like, "Oh my god, it's a
It's
defect,
not a
it's gonna."
deal
Yeah,
killer
yeah,
necessarily.
yeah, and it's navigating. Once again, it's all about navigation on what we do as, with our clients. But, getting back to you, you see yourself not being here in 10 years, but investing and you wanna be gone for 3 to 6 months and using that money that you use as investment. So, real estate, still gonna be a realtor, but might not be doing real estate every day like you're doing right now.
Right.
Okay.
I'm trying to build systems right now to start the process of being able to slowly separate, but I'm very much in a season of, like, head down grind, like, these are like the dog years, it almost feels like.
Do you like real estate? I mean, since you've been in it, do you, like it? Do you love what you do? Are you just like, "Man, it's a job, it gets me paid, I'm okay with it."
I think I love it, like, 80% of the time.
Okay.
Um, and I see it as a stepping stone towards freedom, which is why I'm so gung ho about it. The fastest way for me to at least do it, and by fast, I don't mean overnight, I just mean, like, progressively.
Progressively.
Uh So, I mean, because yes, it is a job, but I get the most out whenever I get to have, like, conversations with people and, like, really get to do life with them. That's when I feel like I'm in the pocket when I'm
Of
feeling
course.
good. Like, if I'm just kinda dude to that didn't around, not good.
I mean, being on the computer writing up a contract is okay, but being out in that field and talking to the people, I think that's what you and I both strive on. We are that's what we like to do.
Yeah,
I mean, I like to put my name out there. You like to put your name out there, and I think that's why you and I are such boys because we had that mindset, and doesn't matter age, 41, 26, it's not that gap is not does not feel like it's there because we both had that grit that we are going to put our nose to the grindstone, get it done. Get it done. I mean, for us, we have conversations about everything, and what I really like about our friendship is it's based on God. It's based on the relationship as being your brother. Now, are we talking about God 100% of the time? No. Do we have some 504 numbers sometimes? Yes. But the thing is, that's why I wanted to start this with you because we have such a relationship, such a connecting relationship that I feel like we're connected in what we do and what we like. So
yeah, I get a final word in. I know I just basically said I don't fuck with real estate,
you could
but
get any word in.
when there's nothing like taking somebody who doesn't think they can buy a home and then help them out. It's nothing like holding somebody's hand through a process. And some clients like me and Tata and want both nips at a time, and some just want periodic updates. But to be able to be the person that they look at, like, dude, you're damn near as important as like the church they go to, as far as like a decision, like you're the denomination of a realtor, like motherfucker, like, and you're doing what I like about it is you're doing life. Like it's just, there's no small transaction in my opinion in real estate, even if the number, cause I mean, where I'm at now, I think the highest house I've ever sold is like 350 right now. So it's like, yeah, I'm not hitting the $500-600 show beach home, $1,000,000 homes yet, but like everything's just leading towards the next. And like the doors that open through real estate is crazy. Like you do right by one person, and before you know it, like their whole little friend group is. And I mean, dude, people my age are, well, most of them are married now, but kids and moving and stuff. Like I want to be the face of it. I want to be like, I've had visions even before I had my license of like helping my really good friends in the homes. And like one of my favorite things is like, when the kids are being bad and running around and cutting up, depending on what they are, like, I have no problem with, like, if a kid's crying or some shit, like, picking them up or something, or, like, something to, like, get them away from the parents so they can just think for a second, Like, that's where I get so involved and so, like, "Man, this is awesome." Like, I'm glad I'm here and not behind the desk because, like, it's just something about it, man.
No, I like what you said. It's living life. It's living life. It's living life with your clients, and that's what I think that we thrive on. So, this is it. Oh, yes. I hit you with the favorite.
The
Thank
favorite
thank you, thank you. Alright, you're 100% correct. I was gonna let you off easy.
shouldn't have.
What is your nightmare scenario, and what was your best real estate
I got 2
transaction?
nightmares, but we're only gonna say 1.
Is it with an agent I know?
No,
Oh,
and
okay.
this is my client's fault.
Oh!
We had a land deal, a little like $25,000 piece of land. Why buddy not show up to the closing? Imagine s imagine grinding, doing all the shit you need to do, and then the motherfucker just not hitting you up. And now you're sitting at a table like this, staring at somebody else, can't buy nothing. Now they're talking about pressing charges and trying to report me for fraud. It's not me, it's my people,
It's
which
my
is
it's my
which is an
people.
extension of me.
It's my people. I'm only
And
affiliated
what
with them.
sucked about it is that he didn't hit me back, and then the next day was like, "What's good?" Nothing is good right now. You like,
It's all bad.
yeah.
It's all
You could
bad.
at least sent me the finger emoji or something, like, I'd literally rather be told to go myself than to be told zero silence.
Could
Same
you
thing with
imagine the
and dude, what's crazy is that, like, real estate, it's so much of it's, like, connected and, like, it's like the saying, "Game, different court." You know what I mean? I need to stop because 'cause I'm about to go on nah, nah,
yeah,
this ain't
best,
good.
best,
This is
best.
504 number.
Yeah,
This is
we we let
I was about to get into a situation.
we reversing
So
it.
good.
We're going good. We don't even need the other bad because it
Oh.
would be going even deeper.
So, helping my mom in the middle of selling her house is cool. My childhood home, you know, that's cool selling, but not gonna go with the heartstringer. Imma go at the, there's an investment deal out here on Hodges, actually. That was a 10-unit apartment, and this thing was run down. The cracks were cracking, like, nobody felt safe on this street, and it's right there off Ryan Street, and they wanted 350 for it, 350,000, and we walked it, me and my client, and we laughed. And,
That's the one that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
go ahead,
And
finish that
then
story.
we, offered him 200, and she basically told me, like, "You're crazy." And I was like, "Do you want me to send the pictures from the listing, or do you?"
Do you want me to?
And then, we got into a back and forth, and I'll never forget being at Daryl's, and then she called me and was like, "Are y'all gonna raise your offer?" And I was just like, "No." And then she was like, that she said something, and I just responded back with, like, "I heard you're, like, a really, really good agent. I just really wanna see it. Look forward to working with you. Let me know if you can get the deal done." And then hung up. And then when I got done eating my Darryl special, I had a contract accepted in my inbox. So,
Got
like,
the Daryl's and the
yeah,
contract.
man, had to drink a celebratory beverage while I was there. Once we did that, took a shot with the bartender that she bought for me. It was crazy. That was just a really good day.
Dude, that is
And, my guy didn't flip it, but he renovated the whole thing, put about 100K into it. So bought 200, put 100K in, they wanted 350. It appraised at 700. Then we bought crazy amount of equity came out. Then we bought the land next door to it, and he's eventually going to develop like a 16, 18 unit complex right there too. So like it was just overall, like, it felt good to, like, make the deal. It felt good to talk to her. Like, it was only on the market 8 days, so it wasn't like I sniped something that was a year on the market, like, please sell. Like, the people needed to sell bad, and hell, I'm trying to buy some more stuff from them right now, if I'm being honest with you. It's your favorite, is what I told her.
oh my gosh, Donnie D. Donnie D.
But I think that's it for this episode. This is the intro, but episode 4. Scott, that was cool.
That was awesome.
And Craig.